Hello and welcome to the Healing Tree Hub. It's been a while since I've jumped on and just had a good chat. Out of nowhere, chucked the microphone on and off I go. And I think something that I've really learnt in the last few months is that my perfectionism really got in the way of this podcast. All of a sudden, I felt like it had to be on screen every single time. And what ended up happening was that it was never a good time to jump on screen. I either didn't have my makeup on, or my hair looked bad, or the background behind me was not good enough. And you know what? It halted the progress of this podcast. And I just wanted to get real with you all and give you my sincere apologies for getting stuck in my own way. And unfortunately, due to that, so much good content didn't come out. So I'm going to redeem myself. And I apologize to all of you that have been waiting for a podcast to come out and it's been really sluggish. And the other reason why we seem to have been a little late with these podcasts is I have been working really, really hard on creating some really magical meditation journeys, not only for my live classes that I'm running each week, but for my YouTube channel. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. It's called the Healing Tree YouTube channel. Unfortunately, it's come to my attention, though, that this channel was shadow banned pretty early in the piece. It went from having almost 300 views in 1 hour on one of the meditations to 1 to 2 a week. I don't know what happened. Either it's just not possible that there could be that much interest and then all of a sudden it all just disappears. So the only way you're going to be able to see these free meditations that are there for you and your family and your friends and your clients and whoever you need to be accessing these meditations is if you are subscribing. But what I've decided to do, and it was a bit of a profound download that I had in the shower, that's where my downloads come in, by the way, was that I'm going to redeem myself and catch up with these podcasts by making sure that I theme up a subject with each meditation. So from this point on, I'm really hoping to have a subject that really aligns beautifully with one of these meditations. So you'll have sort of a part 2 option. You can listen to the podcast and then go, you know what, I want more around this, or I really want to workshop this for myself. And you'll be able to go in and just really workshop it in a subconscious exploration journey, which is what these meditations are all about. So that's my plan going forward. Life has been pretty hectic this year, and I say hectic in a wonderful way. My business went from part-time to full-time, and we've been having such successes with the classes and the courses that we're running now. And I apologize for any delays in getting this stuff out. I am learning how to juggle this, so just bear with me. But look, today's session was just a jump on, a hello, how are you all? And I also just wanted to talk a little bit about that perfectionism. Early last year, I put out a podcast, a spontaneous podcast in regards to perfectionism. And I really just wanted to revisit that a little bit and how our inferior complex can really get in the way sometimes. So I thought that was quite fitting to jump on for a really short one today and just have a bit of a chat about what is your inferior complex? What is your perfectionism stopping you from achieving? We seem to have this scenario where if it's not perfect, it's not worth trying at all. And it really rips us off. It really stops us from having the opportunities that we could be really learning so much. I need to be an example for the people that I'm speaking to, and I need to lead by example. So I'm owning up for this particular area of growth, and I hope that it really helps and hits a spot for you that you've been, maybe avoiding or not doing something because it's not going to be at what standard you think it should be. Almost as though we could probably adapt to a new motto: do it anyway. Even when you're not ready, even before you're ready, just do it anyway. I recently put out a beautiful manifestation meditation and a workshop that went with it. And the whole theme around it was that you're never really going to feel ready to take these really large steps into a new direction of something that you truly want, because there's always going to be a reason why not to do it. There's going to be 1,000 things that you could excuse yourself from doing what you truly want to do because it scares you. Let's be real. It actually scares you Number one, it scares you because you don't know how you're going to handle failure if that occurs. And the second thing is you don't know who you are in that new reality. You're really comfortable in understanding that this area that you're in right now is predictable. You know exactly what's going on. But if you take a step and actually go for what you really want and actually just throw your hat over the fence, you may hear me talking about this analogy, throwing your hat over the fence. It comes from an incredible story. I don't even know. I probably should research where the actual story comes from. But it was this beautiful story about a group of young boys that come from no money, really did it hard in let's say it was the 30s. And their mums and dads had provided them with one hat. And back in those days, having one hat was really important, just like the shoes. These didn't come easy, so they had to make sure that they looked after their shoes and their hat, and it got passed down from brother to brother, etc. So one day, a bunch of young schoolboys were running really late. They got carried away in their ball game, and all of a sudden they realized that they were late and it was starting to get dark. They had to get home as soon as possible, but the fastest way to get home was over a really scary large fence, brick fence, wall more than anything. And so the older brother grabbed his hat and he threw his hat over the actual brick wall fence. And the brother said, "Why did you do that for?" And they said, "Well, I know that I have to get to this hat. I can't come home without my hat. So I'm going to figure out a way of getting over the wall." And sure enough, all the kids, they threw their hats over that large brick fence and they had to find a way. They had no idea how. They had no idea, but they knew that now that their hats were over that fence, they had to make a way there. And sure enough, they did. Where there's a will, there's a way. So that's where that story comes from, which is really cool. So you'll hear me use that term every now and then, but it really is quite perfect analogy of not knowing how you're going to do it. You just throw your hat over. And a perfect example of some of the times I've thrown my hat over the fence is the podcast itself. I had no business doing it, no idea what I was doing, just threw my hat over the fence and chucked it up on Spotify. Starting this business, Wall and Healing Tree, I have no idea how that even happened. I just threw my hat over the fence and gave it a go. There was always a really good chance I was going to fail, but hey, you just got to roll with it. So you might actually just get what you want, and that scares the living crap out of us all. So I'm really hoping that by me owning up and being real about how slack I've been, not throwing my hat over the fence, it's going to maybe be a really nice push for you. If there is something out there that you've been wanting to do, if there's something out there that has been nagging at you, take this as your validation. Take this as your sign in the universe to do it anyway. Do it before you're ready. Do it anyway. As long as it's not harming anybody and it's just for the good of everybody, do it anyway. In the end of the day, let's break it down. What have we got to lose? What? A little bit of embarrassment if we end up falling and having to dust the dirt off our knees and our shoulders a little and get back up? Without failure, we can't progress. We're supposed to fail at things sometimes. Actually, most of the time we fail. I mean, you look at a child, if they stop trying to walk because they fell down a few times, they wouldn't have progressed very far as an adult, would they? Or every time we jumped on a bike, every single one of us was absolutely shitting our pants when we jumped on a bike or rollerblades or roller skates, but we did it anyway. And eventually it got to the point where it was almost second nature and we got to enjoy the fruits of being able to ride our bike or roller skate or rollerblade. It's the same thing, but society tells us that we need to have our ducks in the row and everything needs to be perfect. Well, sure, that's really important. We need to have risk analysis. It's very, very important. I'm an ex-HSC manager, very much big on risk analysis. So don't get me wrong. When I'm talking about this, I understand that there are a lot of factors that we need to consider before jumping into the deep end, especially with financials or safety concerns. But if it's in regards to your confidence and you're worrying that you're going to look bad or you're not going to be enough, then be sure that that is not why you're not going to go forward. get the financials in order, get everything you need sorted, make sure it's safe, and do it anyway. It's really important that we throw ourselves into what we truly want to do, because if we do not try, we do not progress. We stay exactly in the space that we are in. And if you're okay with that, fantastic, stay right there. Enjoy those fruits. If you're in a beautiful space where you've got everything that you possibly want and you don't want to move from there, then enjoy that. But if you're the majority listening to this right now and you want more, then do it anyway. Make sure it's safe, get the financials sorted, and do it anyway. And there is always, I love the term, where there's a will, there's a way. And this is what manifestation is all about. If you can dream it, you can have it. And I don't know if I've mentioned this in a podcast before, but my dad's a very wise man. And when I was younger, I'll never ever forget saying I wanted to be prime minister or something like that, and people laughing. And he turned around to me and he said, Sarah, there's absolutely nothing you can't do. And for my dad to say that, I take it pretty seriously, because he doesn't just say things for no reason. When he says something, he's one of those kind of people that you take note. And when he said that, it really hit. Something changed inside me for the rest of my life. I truly had the belief system that there was nothing I couldn't do if I put my mind to it. Sure, it would take some planning sometimes. Sure, it would take some damn hard work. But there was nothing I couldn't do if I put my mind to it. And I can honestly say that's made me a woman that's had an array of amazing, incredible experiences. I've had so many amazing experiences. Thanks to this, thanks to that drive that I had, the belief system in myself. And every single time that inferior complex comes in, it stops me. It really gets me every single time, but I learn something so huge about myself. And when I take those steps forward, even though I'm terrified, even though I feel like I have no business doing the things that I'm doing, and I do it anyway, it always works out so incredible. I mean, when I picked up this podcast, for goodness sakes, I had no business picking up a podcast. I'm a mum of 3, just, mumming it. What? Who am I to start teaching or speaking about this stuff? But you know what? It felt good. It felt right. So I picked up my mobile phone. If you go back to the earliest episodes of this podcast, it was me in my car talking into my mobile phone at a Macca's car park, hiding from my family while I go and get a coffee for myself, and just spurting out what I was passionate about, hoping that it hit someone somewhere, and it made some sense and made some difference to someone. And I never thought that this podcast would get any traction. I probably would have invested in some better equipment if I knew that at the start, but that's a perfect example of just doing it anyway. I didn't have the equipment. I didn't even know if my knowledge or my words would resonate with anyone, but I did it anyway because it seemed like an incredible, fun thing to do. And here we are. It's in its 2nd year, and I am getting slack for not putting an episode in. So someone out there is listening to me. So thank you to you, whoever you are. I'm glad you're getting something out of this. And if it's even one person that gets something out of it, it makes all of it worth it. It makes all the inferior complex, all of the self-confidence issues, and pushing through all of that stuff. If it made one bit of difference to one person out there, you are the reason why I'm doing this. So please give me a comment. Let me know it's doing something for you. And it just propels me to make sure that I show up for you. Even that one person, I will show up for you if it is making a difference to you. So what's this about? I want you to really take a look into your own life now. And I want you to think about what's something that you have not thrown your hat over the ring because you just thought you weren't good enough, or you thought there was a really good chance you'd fail and you would look bad. It's a really intense thing to look at, to really look at yourself and go, where am I doing that in my life? What am I ripping myself off? I had a client say to me the other day that she really wanted to do my meditation classes, But the reason why she didn't want to try them was because there was a good chance she would look bad in front of the other people, the other students that had been doing this for a long time. And they will be getting all their experiences and stories out of the end of the meditation class, and she might not get anything, and she might look bad. Now, this might sound far-fetched, but it's actually something I hear quite often. I don't want to try something because I might fail. I don't want to try something new because I don't know if I'm going to be any good at it. Wow. And the question I asked was, what if you are great at it? What if you get something incredible out of this? And what if you fail, but you still love it and you make some friends, and then by the third time you excel at it? What if it all works out? What would be possible in your life if it goes well? Isn't it worth seeing that? But here's the thing, right? Our human brain is an incredible thing, and we have these belief systems. And I really want to go into belief systems soon on this podcast. I want to have a whole section on belief systems. Our belief systems will hold us hostage. They need to keep themselves relevant, and they need to keep themselves validated. So what they will do is they will tell you, no, you're not good enough. If you go out there and try that class or that new skill, you're going to fail, you're going to look bad. So it's best to never ever try, because here in this space of wondering, of just, I wonder, you've got this little tiny bit of hope that there's a chance you're wrong. There's a hope that you're not a failure. There's a hope that you're not completely hopeless. So you stay in this little safe area here, where you're just not sure and you'll never truly find out. And you stay safe, and then you'll never really have to know if you are a failure or if you are hopeless. Now, of course, you're never going to be a failure. You're never going to be hopeless. But this belief system will make you feel that there's a chance that you could validate that emotion. So what it does is it keeps you small, it keeps you safe, and it keeps you not doing what you desire to do. See, the brain, it needs predictability. It needs to go from the past experiences, and it wants to keep you small. Not so much small, but it wants to keep you safe. That's its job. That's what it's supposed to do. But if we don't allow ourselves to step out of our comfort zone sometimes, we won't grow. We won't evolve. So it's really important. We only get one chance as this character in life. Okay, you may have many different lives, but in this life, as your character, so my name's Sarah, this is my character, whatever your name is, whoever you are, you get one life as this character. What do you want to do with it? What do you want to show up for? What do you want to inspire your children and your family with? What do you want your legacy to be? Was it that at your funeral, and I know this is a little dark, so I apologize, but is it going to be at your funeral, she was really, really great, she played it safe all the time, and, she was really predictable, and we always knew where she was and what she was going to do, and that just made everyone feel very comfortable. And that might be it, and that's okay if that's what you want. But maybe it could be something like she went out there and she lived, and she showed us how to do it, and she enjoyed her life. And she pulled up everyone around her, and everyone benefited. And she lived a wonderful and exciting life. If that's you, then do it anyway. And with that, I will let you go. And I hope you enjoyed this little snippet. And I make my vow of a promise to you all that I'm going to get my butt in gear, and I'm going to stop worrying about it all being perfect, and I'm going to deliver these little messages as they come, because if you're that one person out there that needs it, I'm doing it for you. I'm going to do it anyway. Have a great week.